So as you can tell by the title of today's video, we got something a little different. I think it's my second football video, but it's not a breakdown or anything. It's not, you know, not any like analysis. I'm just coming to you with, sometimes when people say stupid things and are just saying stuff to say stuff, you just need to uh, put it on the internet, you know. So today, we're just gonna read through some DMs I had with some buddies, who I think will both watch this. I hope we'll both watch this video, so I can break it down. So okay, all right, let's test it up. Okay, we got it all starts when basically my boy Zalen sends a notey that Vikings signing Sheldon Richardson. Nice signing. I'm happy to see it. Good pass rusher. Was here 2018, I believe. I don't think he was on the NFC Championship team, but yeah, good addition. Cheap deal. Should be good for the team. And then he's like, that's three good DTs. Yup, because Michael Pierce, Dalvin Tomlinson, and now Sheldon Richardson. And then I made a joke. I'm like, it's four because we both like Jalen Twyman out of Pitt, who the Vikings drafted. So, okay. Then Rohit Iyer. So, for those of you who don't know him, he's a Saints fan. He's a little bit demented, a little bit slow, but he knows in general what he's talking about with football. I'd say he's an upper end casual. You know, so most people are just straight up casual. So in terms of people I can talk with football with, obviously I have to resort to going to him. And so he says Vikings have a great interior D line. I look. So I'm gonna just preface this by saying that I'm a Vikings fan. I think I can be inherently biased, but I'm not like this emotional like diehard or whatever. I just call what I see. So like right here, I would say like great. I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's very very good. But like I don't think there's anybody. Michael Pierce is a year off, so we have to see how he plays. Dalvin Tomlinson. I know he was good in New York, but I'd be lying to you if I said I watched him specifically and know he's this elite player. But hey, okay. So that's a compliment. I'm not going to fight him on that. And then he says, but that offensive line and secondary is bad. So this is where I get in my bag because we have a history of him saying stuff. I won't say the word here, but out of his bosom and just talking to talk. And in general, I overreact a little bit, and I grill him on it. So offensively, I wouldn't classify either unit as bad, but with the offensive line, I can see the case. Christian Darrisaw, he's a rookie. Now, I'll say this: Rohe has never watched a Christian Darrisaw snap in his life. I can guarantee that. He has never watched a Wyatt Davis snap in his life. I watched both. I did a little, and I'm not no O-line expert. I don't play football. I don't, know proper pass blocking technique. I just see that, you can stay in front of the guy in front of you and then run block and you can maul the guy in front of you, right? So, but he ain't watched either of them. I don't think, he's watched like Brian O'Neill, Garrett Bradbury, and I sure know Ezra Cleveland. We'll get to that later. So he's already, I can already tell he's talking out of his butt here, but the offensive line has been pretty atrocious for like 3 or 4 years. So that's something like I get it. I can't guarantee it's going to be great this year. Wyatt Davis, Darrisaw are both rookies. Now, can you be an immediate contributor on the offensive line as a rookie? Yes, just look at Tristan Wirfs. But I'm not going to guarantee anything with that. So that's fine. But to say the secondary is bad, it was just I couldn't go because just off the top, right? And I'm not. This isn't even me. Patrick Peterson. Even if you think he's washed, he's still an above average starting corner. He's a CB2 in today's league. Cam Dantzler, I won't say he was the clear cut best corner last year, but if he wasn't, he was top 3. L'Jarius Sneed was very good as a 7th round pick. Jalen Johnson, he was got a lot of hype to start the year, but I don't know. I didn't watch a ton of him, to be honest. Justin Jefferson, he cooked a lot of people, so I'm not going to hold that against Johnson. But I think he was pretty good. C.J. Henderson, was okay. AJ Terrell was okay, but Dantzler, like I believe from weeks 10 through 17, or maybe it was 8 through 17. I'm not sure. There was a PFF stat that was like, okay, he was like top 5 in coverage. I mean, PFF, it's not, not the most amazing source, but okay, if you're doing that, you're doing something right. He made a big play against the Bears in week 16. I can overall say, just from watching the games, I'm not talking about any statistics. He was very good. Now, you get Bashad Breeland, who former Redskin, former football, former Chief. He's been like a long time underrated guy. I wouldn't say he's like a bona fide CB1 either, but he's like all three of these dudes are, you can at least call them good, I have the stat with Bashad Breeland here, and I'm gonna be real, like I don't always love when people do stuff like this, because when you like just put completed passes as context, it's not always fair. But with the sample size this great, so 155 targets, this is 2018 to 2020. All of these guys have more, but I don't think that matters one way or the other. It's 155 targets. He's 1105 yards, 49.6% completion, 9 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Better rating than guys considered elite like Jair Alexander, like Jalen Ramsey. Now, obviously, he's not better than either of those two. And, I think when you go 2018 to 2020, it's good for Breeland, it's good for Gilmore, guys who have kind of stayed around the same level from 2018 to 2020. But Jair took a big leap in 2020. I would even say Jalen Ramsey took a leap. Like, he was always an elite corner, but he's kind of went from being, top 5, top 10 to number 1 consensus. So, but okay, this is enough to say Breeland is at least pretty dang good. This is a sample size to say, okay, and I think most Chiefs fans really wanted him to be re-signed. And corner is a position where, like, if you're bad, and this isn't shade at Kevin King, but take the Packers, for example. If you're a corner who's, like, obviously a liability, fans want him out immediately. Vikings fans were doing that with, what was it, Holton Hill? That's why he got cut. I don't know. So he was clearly good enough so that Chiefs fans wanted him back. He was a free agency, like many teams were trying to get him. I know he didn't sign for a while, but I heard that was about he wanted to take time to make a decision. The Chiefs offered him a contract. So yeah, that's with Breeland. So this and then that's just the starting 3 corners. So that's your package of 3 right there. And then you get to Jeff Gladney, who since college I've not been a fan of. He's got some legal issues going on. I don't know the details on that. I can't comment on that. But he showed promise last year. Like, he, as your CB4 or maybe 5, you could do much worse than him. And he's a former first-round pick. So we'll see what happens with the legal situation. But he, as of right, I mean, he's at least not bad, he's at least not bad as a CB4 or whatever. And he showed glimpses last year. And then we got Mackenzie Alexander, who is familiar with the system, played with Zimmer. He clearly wanted to come back. He's all right. So there's 5 right there. And then Harrison Hand was very good against the Saints last year. So Rohit should know that better than anybody. But I'm not going to, he's a former, 5th round pick? It's a late round pick. So I'm not going to say he's the answer. And then Chris Boyd and whoever. But I would say, and I can't speak because I haven't done an in-depth look at every secondary room around the league. The corner room seems like I'm going to say at least top 15. And I argue top 10, I'd have to look into it more, but I can't think of many teams on the top of my head who do better. So he says it's bad right there. Now, you also have, because secondary is not just corners. You have in the back end, you have Harrison Smith, who we'll get to this later, but he is getting older. He wasn't maybe the same, like he was not, maybe the best safety in the league last year, but he's still IMO top 5. He's still one of the best, he's so versatile, play coverage play. He made a lot of big plays. Against the Packers last year, I think 2 touchdown passes he deflected, So Harrison Smith is good. And then Xavier Woods from the Cowboys, I think that, to be honest, like, this is where I'm going to be totally unbiased. I don't know a ton about him, but the thing I know him from is that after the Browns game against, when OBJ did that 50-yard touchdown run, and I don't think it was just about this play, but he said something like, you can't expect us to give full effort every play. And everyone's like, oh, he's such a clown. He said, you got to cut him. But okay, don't think he's necessary. Like okay, he's your free safety. Uh, Probably at least not bottom five. Like I don't think he's dreadful or anything. He's a former third round pick, something like that. I won't speak for him though. But let's continue. So Zaylen right here, he says their offensive line isn't bad. He said, Brian's really good. Bradbury's solid there, so has potential. Uh, O'Neal's. I'd say he's, as of right now, he's the most certified offensive lineman. Darius has potential. Yep. I think not only potential, like people have this idea that, when you say potential, like that means he's not. I think he's a great starter day one. Maybe not great, but he's a good starter day one. And then Bradbury struggled in pass pro a little bit. His pass pro grades are pretty weak, but really good run blocker. And also, a lot of people believe that with improved guard play around him, he's going to be better this year. And okay, so let's continue. So, but when he said this, I was like, "Hey, yo, you ignoring the secondary part? Because that's the part that made I was like, because the offensive line, like, whatever. I think it was stupid to call it bad, but I ain't gonna fight you on that. But you're gonna call the secondary bad, and then Zaylen didn't comment on it, so I was like, here and then. So Rohit chimes in. He's like, I'm talking about their guard situation. Might be bottom 5 in the league, and then he doubles down on what he just said. I didn't force him to do that, so he doubles down on it. I'm gonna go ahead and get to that later, but guard wise, that's somewhat fair. Like it's always the interior offensive line has always been a giant struggle for the Vikings. Like really going back to the last 7 or 8 years, like the Brandon Fusco days. Before Joe Berger got moved to those guys weren't bad. I'm just saying like it has been a persistent problem. With that being said, if I were to go out there and say the Saints have a bottom 5 guard unit in the league, I'll be real. I'd just be talking. Like, how am I supposed to know that? So that's how I felt when Rohit said this. So I challenged him. I said, who are their guards? Because if you're gonna make that claim right there, say something like bottom 5 certified or whatever, then you better at least know who they are. Okay. So yeah. I said who are their guards. He didn't respond immediately. So I was just playing around. Like I thought he was gonna pull up Google. For all I know, he might have. So and then Zaylen right here addresses what I said about secondary. He totally forgot about Breeland and Peterson. So I'll give him a pass on that one. But yeah, and we'll see. Mike Hughes got traded. So I'll give him a pass. Yep. Now good call, Zaylen. Agreed for me. So yeah, right here I just said what I said. Like I'm not gonna act like it's some elite unit. I do think they're missing for a secondary to be an elite unit, you need a lockdown CB1. So anyone like Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, Tre'Davious White, Stephon Gilmore, James Bradbury's in that convo, Marlon Humphrey is in that, Xavier Howard. It goes on and on. I think you need a guy like that, and then you could argue you need 2 good safeties. So, but if that's the case, the only team I can think of off the top of my head that matched at what I just said was the Rams with Jalen Ramsey. On the back end, you got, I think it's Taylor Rapp and John Johnson, who left in free agency, and then Darius Williams in the slot, Troy Hill on the other outside. That was a very good unit. The team that matches my criteria is the Packers with Jair Alexander. Back end, you got Amos and Savage, but they didn't have a CB2. So not really. So basically, I won't sit here and say the Vikings secondary was elite because I'm not sure Breeland, Peterson if they're CB1s anymore. But yeah, to call it bad is another story. And also, Peterson, he's going back to his LSU number. I think to an extent in Arizona, he was just super unmotivated. And even like, because he wanted out from there for a while, from what I'm aware of. But that's not an excuse. Yeah, even when he was quote unquote washed, there's like videos of him on YouTube with all snaps against like DK Metcalf, and he does a pretty dang good job on DK Metcalf. So just gonna throw that out there. Yeah, and then right here, like Rohit really made it. Like this is what I mean, man. So he's out there, he's just talking. He's like bottom 5 guard unit in the league, and then he says The two guards are Pat Elflein and Drew Samia. So Pat Elflein got cut, I want to say around week 7 or week 8. He has not been on the team in a long time. And there was a Viking Saints game after that. Now, I don't, the commentators don't talk about everything. Like, I'm not going to fault, like, it's not his fault for not knowing who the guards are, but it is his fault that you're going to sit there and say they're top 5, and then you can't even tell me who they are. Or they're bottom 5, and you can't even tell me who they are. So he says Pat Elflein. He's not even on the Vikings. So what is he on about? Then he says Drew Samia, who they drafted in the 4th round 2 years ago. He was pretty bad, and I don't think he started since around the time Elflein got cut. That was the time they moved to you always had Dakota Dozier on the left side. Then Elflein started there. They cut him. They put in Samia. He was like horrible for 2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks, and then they put in Cleveland. So okay, he's just totally wrong here. That's what we're talking about right now. Yeah. So Zelenas. Yeah. So right here, you see the title of the video. I'm just messing around. Drew Samia, I know for sure. This is what I mean, man. This is what I mean. He's gonna say he knows for sure, and he can't even get it right. So Zalen asked, yeah. So it's a free safety Xavier Woods. We'll see Cameron Bynum, who they drafted out of Cal. He plays corner. They announced him as a safety, so we'll see if he plays it. But he is a rookie, so I'm not gonna act like our second safety is a great spot. Okay, and then he says, "Isn't it Mason Cole now?" Now, I don't want to accuse or assume anything here, but he doesn't he doesn't know the starters for week 9 to 17, but he remembers we traded for Mason Cole for Arizona for a 6th round pick. Now Mason Cole's not starting either. And I also believe he's a center. I didn't watch him in Arizona, but I'm pretty sure he's a center. He has guard center flexibility, but pretty sure he's a center. So he's run again. So they say third time's a charm, right? He went 0 for 3 right there. Let's go. Nice Google. Nope. Okay, so it's Ezra Cleveland and Wyatt Davis, right? Yep. I remember that. Oh wait, no, this is the part he meant. Yeah, after Elflein went to the Panthers. That was Google right there. I don't need proof. I don't need anything. That was Google, okay? You don't just think Elflein was on the Vikings and all of a sudden remember. And I bet he doesn't know that before Elflein went to the Panthers, he was on the Jets. He doesn't know that. So yeah, that's cap right there. So it's Ezra Cleveland, Wyatt Davis. I remember that Wyatt Davis was drafted. Okay, I don't really get what his point was here. I mean, he was a 3rd round pick. He was a high regarded guard. Like, if he was, the only reason he fell so far, and this is a fair point, was positional value. And then he, I guess had a down finish to the year, but he had a long time been hyped as a potential 1st round guy. Everyone, I mean, most people regard that as a steal, including myself. So, okay, I don't really know what he was saying here. Please say, I was telling him, please save yourself now, because the more he was going to ramble on and just say stuff, I couldn't do it. And this happens all the time, man. He says some, I hate, so for those of you, who are real football fans, you may know a guy by the name of Rashard Higgins, right? So he's like a solid wide receiver 3 for the Browns. And Rohit went out there and called him super good. And I was like, are you serious? Super good? Just take it back now so I don't got to hold it against you. But he kept saying it, so I don't have a choice anymore. I had to put it out there. That's what I mean. He has a tendency, he says some stupid stuff, and then he doubles and triples down. So I don't got a choice but to keep. Okay, so he says Ezra plays at left tackle. That much I know. I mean, he played at left tackle in college. If you watch the Vikings at all last year, they didn't put him there. They put him at guard. And by drafting Darrisaw, they're pretty much showing that they're still going to do that. Okay. And I'm not sure how he knew he played at left tackle. I believe it was Boise State, but I could be wrong about that. It might have been something else. But yeah, so he says that. That's where, Zalen's in his bag. He knows. So right here, I said what I said. I said, I don't care if you know who the guards are, but if you're gonna go out there and make a preposterous claim, if you're gonna say something, you better know who they are. All right. Where did he play last year? Right guard. Yep. All I know is that, okay, so your buddy. That's all you know. Thank you for admitting it. We just talk a little bit here. You literally only have, so now we're gonna move on to secondary, right? You literally have only one decent corner, and that's it. So I say who, because there's 3 of them. There's 3 guys you couldn't call decent. Dantzler, Breland and Peterson. And then he says, Xavier Woods was so we're going to get to this part later. Xavier Woods was a backup for the Cowboys. Harrison Smith is so he's just addressing all the points. So in regards to Xavier Woods, now I'm saying before I ever say anything, man, I make sure I either do the research, okay, or I make sure I don't sound like a confident, whatever, before I say it, okay. Now Rohit on the other hand, he ain't like that. So okay, we gonna get into this. But basically, he says Xavier Woods is backup. Now, I don't watch a ton of Cowboys games, right? The only team I watch more than 8 games a season of is the Vikings. But what I do, I did watch that Cowboys-Browns game. I did watch, whatever, Cowboys-Giants week 5, Cowboys-Rams week 1. And all of the games, especially week 1 because it was on Sunday Night Football, what they, at the beginning, they're like, they name their college and they name all the starters. And I saw Xavier Woods. I remember it, right? So, my memory did tell me that, okay, Xavier Woods was a starter. But I'm like, I'm going to make sure before I go in on him. So right here, let's see it. Yeah, I got this image right here. So this is Xavier Woods' Pro Football Reference. And right here it says he started 15 games last year. He started 15 games the year before. He started 14 games the year before that. So literally, Rohit just talking out, just saying stupid stuff, bro. He was a backup last year. Look at this. Harrison Smith is getting up in their age. That's fair, but you're saying he's going to go from a top 5 safety to contributing to that secondary being bad. Stupid. Okay, your one decent corner is Dancer. And here's when, this is the embarrassing part. So, 3 months on, this dude, Rohit Iyer, has been telling me about how Dancer's overrated. He's a poopy pants. Ken Crawley's better. That was a joke. But we was just talking once, and I was like, Dancer was the best rookie corner in the league last year. Now, I do believe that, but okay, I'm not going to say it's facts. And then he's like, nope. And I'm like, so who was better? And then he's like, well, I don't know, but I know he wasn't the best. That's what he was saying. And then he just kept calling him overrated. So now he's switching up and all of a sudden saying he's good. He says Patrick Peterson is washed. Okay, I mean, that's a narrative. Like I said, there's I believe the YouTube channel is called Highlight Castle, or it might be wide receiver versus corner matchup highlights. Somewhere on there's him versus Patrick Peterson. Pretty sure he did an all right job. So I don't know about this one. And then okay, you say Harrison Smith is still good, but he's bound to regress. I guess that's fair. I mean, he's not gonna regress to being a below average safety or anything close to that. So still, you stupid for that comment. Okay. He says doesn't mean anything when I post. It kind of does mean something when it says you started 15 games. Now, the one thing I'll say is that there are scenarios where, for example, the Vikings in weeks 1 and 2, Olabisi Johnson was a starter, right? But he actually was the starter. So I actually scrap what I just said. I don't know what the hell he's saying here. Okay, it does mean something when it's when have you found instances where the guy every game he plays in he starts, yet he's a backup? Don't know. Okay. Yep. And then my boy Zaylen, for once he's being a real one. He's got my back. He's posting the depth chart, and right here might be hard to see in the YouTube video, but it shows he's the starter right here. And really, what I'm wondering is that Cowboys secondary. And this isn't good for Woods. I'm just addressing what Rohit said about him being a backup, but that Cowboys secondary was pretty bad. Who the heck would have replaced Woods? Why would he not be starting? Yeah, it was him and Donovan Wilson back there. Does that mean anything? No, because he has 0 statistics. Probably a starter in a nickel or dime package with no impact. So now he's just talking again. This is what I meant earlier about please save yourself now, because now he's just talking and talking. He's digging himself into a greater hole. So 0 statistics, right? And then my boy Zaylen comes through and pulls up the stats. He had 72 tackles. Now, tackles are not a super important statistic, right? Because a long time, Blake Martinez, well known to many people, was a tackle leader for a long time, and nobody thought he was good, right? There is a point that if you are high in tackles, that means you're just it's like you get beat and then you tackle the guy you were guarding. If you're a corner, or if you're like a linebacker, you're late to the play and you're just getting clean up empty stats. He says, where do you see that? So, okay. I mean, I posted his stats earlier. You could look it up yourself before saying anything. He's just talking, though. He wants us to do everything. So, send right here. Looks like it's not loading, but okay. Yeah, it's 72 tackles, and I believe that says 72 the year before as well. So it's like he's been pretty consistently like a 7 tackle guy. Yeah, he's just cool. Those are easy numbers in a nobody's saying that he's good. Like, no, we're not saying that he's good. It's not about the numbers. It's about the fact that you said he's a backup. If he got 70 tackles, he was not a backup, okay? And you don't want your nobody's saying he's amazing, okay? You're saying, okay, he had 70 tackles. So I'm just going to, this is actually on the fly. I did not prepare this at all. So he has 70 tackles. Let's remember that. I'm going to search up some of the best safeties in the league and their tackle numbers. Now, let's start with Jamal Adams. Well, how many tackles did he have last year? 83. Okay. Now, he might not be the best example because people do think he is bad in coverage. So let's go on to Budda Baker. How many sets? As you can see, like, 118. Okay. Okay, so isn't he supposed to be very good as well? All right, let's try Jesse Bates now. 109. Okay. How about, who is it next? Justin Simmons. 96. So all of those guys had higher than Woods. Now, all of those guys are better than Woods too. But this might be the stupidest thing I've ever read now. You don't want your free safety. And by the way, I didn't read free safety. So, Jamal Adams is a strong safety, but Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates are both free safeties. So, what do you guys say about that? And I could go on. I could go look up Tyrann Mathieu, and I could look at other people, but I just show what I need to show. Okay. If that's the case, why do all the best free safeties in the league have high tackle numbers, higher than Xavier Woods? Means they suck in coverage. I don't think that's completely true. Yeah, it's really not, as I just showed. Yep, I agree. Oh man. Let me actually make sure. This is a little embarrassing, but I'm not okay. Harrison Smith is no longer a free safety. Let me just check. Okay, this was published pretty recently. Yeah, let's just look at this. So yeah, we got all these guys on here. I just want to make sure the people I searched up earlier are so Budda Baker apparently is a free safety. I thought he might be a strong safety. Whatever, it doesn't matter. All these dudes play safety. It really doesn't matter. And like all of the guys I've searched up so far, I can do more. Who is there? Earl Thomas now plays, but you get the point, okay? I just a bunch of those guys, and they're 70. Like he's acting like 72 tackles is you gotta add context to everything. It's possible that those were cleanup stats, but how are you gonna say that? How are you gonna say that? And then all the top safeties have higher tackle numbers? Is that a bad thing? Come on. Yeah, and then Zalen points out that he's like being contradictory. He's playing nickel corner, and then I didn't say nickel corner, nickel packages, either single high or an outside third. Like what? I'm not gonna. I have no idea. Okay, maybe after this, just to be petty, I might go watch Cowboys tape. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I might have to do it because why are you just talking now? Why are you just talking? Yep. So Zalen points out to me, Darnell Savage had 75 tackles last year. He's a free safety. That's a guy who's more comparable to Woods. Like, not to say Woods is better or anything, but Savage is not considered among the NFL's elite. He had 75. Let's see what he says to that. And all the time Saints has played. He's just talking. And once again, we drifted from the real point. The real point was that he was not a backup last year, which Rohit's not even countering at this point. He's saying he's bad, but he's just assuming things. So I'm not going to sit here and do the same. I can't tell you for sure. Outside third, yeah. I don't know what that is either. Safety's last line of defense. That's a good thing. I'm not going to fully agree with Zalen here. It's all about It depends on the player, man. Blake Martinez was a longtime tackle leader. He's not, he's not a good player. Or he wasn't, at least. Jalen Smith led the league in tackles this year, or he was top, 10. Nobody would say he was a good linebacker this year. But on the other hand, Roquan Smith, Bobby Wagner, Eric Kendricks, they've been tackle leaders too. And they're all pretty good. Even guys who are less good, like Zach Cunningham's been one of those guys. So I do think tackles for loss is a better stat, but you just can't make blatant assumptions in general statements. Like it's bad for a free safety to have high tackles. Just look at everyone I Googled. Okay. And I can guarantee it's not high. Okay, buddy. Sure, but look up his coverage rate. Why don't you do it? You're the one claiming stuff. We never claimed anything. We just said he's not a backup. That's what I mean by stupid. I might have to like that right now. Xavier Woods. I actually kind of want to see this. So, what? Okay, yeah, he was pretty bad last year, but the whole Cowboys defense was bad last year. And he was actually pretty, 73 grade, I think is okay the years before. Yeah, and then, okay, the rest. But basically, in summary, man, I'm just going to go here, right? Starts with calling, just making, hey, I like talking football, man. And I have no, you do not, it's totally cool to not know. I could not name more than 20 players on the Las Vegas Raiders, I could not name more than 25 players on the 49ers. But maybe I could, to be honest. But it's just a matter of not being an idiot, not just talking to talk, saying statements like the Vikings secondary is so bad they only have one good corner. Xavier Woods was a backup. Just making claims when you have no idea what you're talking about. So that was just the point of this video. I hope everyone has some fun listening to it. Make sure to make fun of that kid in the comments section. And until next time, peace.